everyone. So my name is Tasmin Trezise. This is Alex. My job's really just an official hype man for Alex, but also I wanted to officially welcome you to the Workforce Success Conference of 2019. Obviously thank you to the audience and everyone who's participating, but also to amazing speakers and sponsors we have. And honestly, the whole team behind Tanda that's put this on has been phenomenal. People up 5, 6 o'clock this morning. I just wanted to give a personal thanks for doing that. So thank you very much, and thank you to everyone here for coming. I appreciate it. Before Alex really gets into the future of the actual tech of the workforce, I just wanted to talk a little bit about our mission as a company, and I guess why that led us to create a conference in the first place. So what we really believe in is using engineering and research to advance the happiness, welfare, and efficiency of those at work. So research has always been very, very important to us because it's about finding the right problems. So it's about analyzing, it's about testing, it's about finding, because there's a million and one problems, but you really have to concentrate on the right ones to solve. And engineering is really about building the solutions to those problems. So it's about testing it, it's about prototyping it, then it's about testing it, implementing it, and scaling it. So what I've always been really good at, I guess, is finding problems, and Alex has been good at building them or solving them. So, and those two is we really want the conference to be about as well. Research can sometimes just be a lot of talk, but it really needs to be transformed into action and solvable results as well. And that's really what the conference is we want about, to be talking as well as actually finding the solutions to that. And for that tension that exists between finding those problems and solving them, we want that to be for the happiness, welfare, and efficiency of people at work. It's that trinity which we've kind of found in 4 main pillars, which is compliance, so eliminating labor bureaucracy within businesses or just eliminating compliance so we can focus on bigger things. Automation, so removing any manual data entry or anything that exists that can be kind of automated away. Engagement, so teams being completely engaged in company goals and also what the mission is. And productivity. So after those 3 things are really done, doing whatever is humanly and I guess non-humanly possible to increase the labor output per man hour within any business. So, and that's really, as a history of our company, where we started. So over in QUT Guild, we were running quite young. I mean, we still are young, but we were running the student association. We had 120 staff, and we had a problem with all those 4 areas. So we weren't compliant. We're going to be honest about that. When we took over the organization, people weren't being paid properly, and paying someone 99% correct is 0% useful. So Alex went ahead, and we knew all these problems, so people weren't engaged. Everything was being very manually done, and our production wasn't very good. We're actually losing $800,000 a year as an organization, and over 3.2 million turnover. It just wasn't acceptable. The organization was going to go broke. So Alex then built these very simple single solution features for us to be able to implement in the organization, which was a very simple time clock app, afterwards employee scheduling. And we were called Payos back then, so I'm not sure many people know that, but it's a terrible name, and it had a terrible logo. It was my fault. I did both of those things. Which kind of brought us to 2014, and we changed to Tanda. That's when we employed our first person to join the team, which was Adam. And we had to change to Tanda because, well, nobody would work for Payos. It's a terrible name. And then our kind of strategy from there was to build from single feature to a suite of products. So Tanda really became what's in the entire suite. So leave, award interpretation, that timesheets, the payroll integration. And up to now, we've become a company of 150 staff. We're across US, UK, Southeast Asia, and Brisbane. And today is not really about that, though. Today is really about 2019 and beyond and where we're actually going. That's what we're really excited about, and that's what we want this presentation to be about. But I just wanted to give a bit of context to how we've got to where we are and a bit of mission and what this conference and the spirit in which we started it. So for that, I'll hand over to Alex to start the future of workforce tech and have an announcement at the end as well after Alex.
Cool. Thanks, Taz. So as Taz said, I'm going to talk about where we're going forward from here. And I'll start with something controversial just to get people really woken up. I think if you go and talk to most software companies, they'll say, well, we're building more features every day. And look, we are always improving on the stuff that we always talked about. But the future is not more features. I'm going to explain why. Before I do that, though, I just want to touch back on the last conference. So first of all, it's great to see so many people who were here last year back again. It means we didn't do too terribly. And for those who were here would remember that a year ago I stood up on a stage and I said, we're going to build 6 huge features in 6 months. And not everyone really believed that was going to happen. But we did. So for those who weren't there, I just want to sort of recap on what they were and what they've kind of meant. So I'll start with shift replacements. When I looked at the stats the other day, we've had about 10 to, I think, 15,000 people who have swapped a shift using the Tanda app. That's 15,000 people who beforehand were calling their boss at 2 a.m. or finding them on WhatsApp or other much more creepy things that I can't really repeat, but they definitely happen. They don't happen anymore, and that's really good. We rebuilt time off for those who use it. We rebuilt the leave and unavailability calendars all into one. We added custom events and blackout periods and a bunch of other useful stuff that's made it a lot easier for people to take time off when they need it and a lot harder for them to take time off when you don't want them to. We launched paid breaks and shift feedback, and we've really seen that a lot of our customers have gotten a lot more confidence in their staff being paid correctly, and they've been asking their team members, are you getting paid correctly? Are you actually working shifts that make sense? And is there feedback from the front line that we can action? And I heard stories yesterday when I was talking to some of our customers of just the most amazing things that come through shift feedback that would never have been reported person to person because they were awkward or they were sensitive or there just wasn't a communication line across different cities or states. So we found by launching these really simple tools within the app that have helped our customers communicate better and more openly and more quickly, they've really been able to focus on improving the front line and moving forward. We launched GPS clock-ins. For everyone here who has employees clocking in across multiple work sites, you're welcome. That's been very, very, very popular already, which I think is really good. And last but not least, we launched Live Insights. And I really like this one because when we started Tanda, one of the things we wanted to do was we were getting monthly labor reports. Once a month we were told, here's how much you spent on labor. For those who already use Tanda, it's obviously a really dumb idea. And the first insight we had was, let's make that weekly. We made weekly labor reports, and we were like, wow, this is amazing, we're losing less money. And fast forward about a year or so, we built daily labor reports and daily timesheet approvals and all the stuff that everyone uses and takes for granted. And we thought daily was pretty good, and then Tasmin came along and was like, daily's shit. We need to be getting our labor spent to the minute. And he used those exact words, and I don't blame him for it. And so we built the live wage tracker, and everyone who's using that and knowing exactly how much they're spending on labor to the minute, you're welcome. But I think we built on top of that. We went and talked to more customers, and they said, it's cool knowing how much we're spending, but what we want to know is how much we're making. So we partnered with a large number of point-of-sale systems, some of them are here today, and other sort of demand-generating data streams. And we said, okay, well, now we can tell you exactly how much you're making, how much you're spending as the shift is going. And again, we've had so many customers just tell us that that's really empowered them to make more useful decisions on the front line and not do things a month after the fact when, frankly, there's nothing to be done. So that was last year. So to all the product team who are in the audience, that's all on you guys. That's been a really, 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 really big win for our whole customer base. And I think now that we're all here today and with all you guys here today, we'd love to hear any feedback you have on how we can make all this even better. But enough on that. Thank you. I'm glad you all like Live Insights so much. Now, everything I've talked about here is what we in the industry call horizontal features. And what I mean by horizontal is, and you can see examples there, all these features we have, pretty much all our customers use them. And that's really good. They're general purpose, everyone uses timesheets, you all kind of do the same thing with it. You record the times people work and you pay them right. That's obviously extremely important. What we've kind of realized though is there's a really, really, really big opportunity in what we call vertical features. And a vertical feature basically is things that are not going to apply to all the customer base and don't try to. So again, in the software world, there's this whole thing around you should build features that all your customers can use because that makes you more efficient as a software team, makes your customers able to learn from each other, makes everything nicer and simpler. And that's true, kind of. But the thing that's missing is the reality, which not all software companies have realized, which is that certainly in the business-to-business space, every business is so different. And in this particular context, what differentiates them a lot is the data sources they have, the business logic they have, and the workflows they have. If you go to a hospitality company and you say, well, I'm an expert in healthcare, and this is how we should operate, I'm sure Nick can confirm this, they're going to laugh at you quite a lot. He laughs very loudly, so it's kind of off-putting. So you don't want, and like as a team, we have made that mistake. We're not going to make it again. We've restructured, and we're restructuring our product around this idea of building vertically unique features. I'm going to explain how. Basically, what we're announcing today is we're announcing the Tanda platform. And the Tanda platform is we're going to be building an ecosystem on top of Tanda that's going to let every single customer and every single industry group and representative define what the future of the workforce within that industry looks like. And the analogy I kind of use sometimes is we used to be a product. A product tells you how to run your business. And now we're becoming a platform. And a platform lets you create your own destiny. So I'm going to dive really quickly into what that looks like at a how it works sort of level. For those who get bored by technical details, bear with me. It's not going to take too long, and it'll hopefully be really easy. So the first and most fundamental thing, everyone's already using Tanda, and hopefully, or if not, you will be after today. And you've got employees, and you've got shifts, and you've got teams, and you've got other concepts that are simple and straightforward. And we store data on them. Every employee's got a name, and a passcode, and a phone number, and a bunch of other stuff. This example is from a customer that we're working with at the moment, and they roster pilots. Now, for those who don't know, and I only learned this recently, as a pilot, the main way that you distinguish yourself in terms of how you've progressed in your career is how many hours you've flown in different kinds of planes. There's no field in Tanda that's called hours flown in different kinds of planes. And frankly, there never will be. Except that these guys have gone and made one. So custom fields lets you create basically ways of storing the data that you need to define how your business operates in the real world. Here they're storing, again, the hours flown on an A320. They're storing when this person commenced, not at their company, because we have that, but in the industry. There's two kinds of tenure in the professional pilot space, and they both mean different things. We're not going to add fields for both. Now we don't need to. And finally, they're storing if the contract was signed. Obviously, if you have not signed a contract, you shouldn't be working. So what they've turned Tanda into is a really powerful data storage tool where pilots who work across different kinds of planes now have a field for each of those where they record how they're going in those fields. Other examples we've seen, this is an in-home aged care facility. If you're working in-home aged care, what used to happen is they would do their rostering, timesheeting, time off, a work interpretation, payroll integration, and I probably missed some other stuff all in Tanda. And then they had someone whose job it was to text people and say, here's the key code to get into the house of the person you're going to look after. And that person really didn't like their job. So what we've built here is they basically turned Tanda into a rostering system specifically for in-home aged care. These guys need to roster the vehicle that was driven on any particular job that was done. Well, now they've made Tanda into a rostering system for vehicles that were driven on particular jobs. A more generic and simple one that you can all take and implement tomorrow when you recover from tonight's after party. If you want to add a unique comment to every single shift that says a different thing for each person, you can put it in, you can add as a field on the roster, and staff will see it in their app and in their email when they're being told when to work. Apparently, this person never locks the back door before leaving. Now they really have no excuse. So that's custom fields. Again, it might just seem like we're dumping extra data in a few bunch of places, and right now that's what it is. But it's going to become something a lot bigger when we add custom objects. Now, sorry, this is going to get a bit more intense, but bear with me. When you look at Tanda or any system that you use or any technology that you work with, you can kind of think of it in terms of concepts or what programmers call objects. So an employee is a concept. It's like a person, they do stuff, they have a name, etc. A team's a concept. It has a name, it has a color code, it means something, it is used for categorization. And a shift on a roster is a concept. It's when someone worked, has a start time, has a finish time, has a cost. What we're building is letting you create your own concepts, or what we're going to call custom objects. In this example, I'm defining a customer. So if I wanted to use Tanda as a database of all my customer information, now I can. This customer has a name, they have the date they joined, they've completed a training session, they have an email address. You can create any fields you like. And what you can do by combining these things is by taking some of the basic concepts we have and the concepts that we're letting you invent, you turn Tanda into a powerful data management platform. So, just to give an example of where this is really useful. There's a customer that, I'm not sure if they're in the room today, but we're working with Rob, who I'm sure many of you would have met. And they're a healthcare service. They're in-home healthcare. They use Tanda and they use Xero. And they want to send invoices as well as paying their staff, both based on the number of hours that were worked. But obviously, the amount the invoice charges at is different to the amount of hours that were worked. And we get asked for this feature a lot, but only from very specific industries. Previously, our solution was, yeah, cool, there's a lot of copy and pasting, and you can sort of move data around in Xero, and the Xero guys can make their product easier for this sort of stuff. But fundamentally, it's not a really smooth solution. Now, they've created a customer on the platform, they've created an invoice on the platform, they've attached charge-out rates to their teams and to each employee. And suddenly, by connecting a few things together and wiring it all up, they've turned Tanda into an invoicing system. Every time somebody works a shift, an invoice gets sent out to the customer that was visited for that shift. And this is all done automatically, and it's running in production. And if this will be useful for you, if you come to the expert bar afterwards, we can help you get started with it. Now, this is not something that you could do before. And I know it's one simple example, and it's obviously only going to apply to some people in the room. But I think I encourage everyone to sort of, bend your mind as to what other tools are you using, what other processes do you have that might be on paper or in a spreadsheet or in someone's head that would be better served if they were connected to the data that's already in Tanda and running automatically. I expect most people in the room will come up with a few examples. I hope you'll all go to the expert bar afterwards and tell us them so that we can either help you get them up and running now, or we can at least figure out how we can make them work in the future. So that's what we're building. We're building the platform for all your workforce data. We're also building one more thing. Now, I said before that was a bit technical, and frankly, there's a lot of concepts there that need to be tied together. It's not a straightforward thing yet. It's going to become easier. But what we're also going to do is we're going to reach out to experts in every industry, the childcare management systems of the world and the hospitality experts of the world, and say to them, well, your customers and your potential customers are already using Tanda for everything that underpins their business. And there's a platform here that you can connect to. So how are you going to connect your systems, either on top of it or alongside it, and how are you going to bring the data from your systems into it? And how are you going to become the experts on this platform who can build new functionality and new features into Tanda? So we're going to create an ecosystem of experts who specialize in different verticals, and some of them are already in the room today. They might not know it, but they're on our list. And you're going to be able to go to them and say, well, I want to build this use case, or I've got this particular piece of business logic or this workflow that I want to do on top of Tanda. Can you help me build it? This will take some time, and it's going to be a journey for us all to go on. It's going to be really exciting because, again, as we learned, you can have as many great features across the board as you want, but ultimately, businesses aren't successful because they're good at rostering. They're successful because of what they do with the people they've rostered. What we're building with this platform is the ability to really connect Tanda more to those success outcomes and build whatever else is missing in the process. So that's how we're building the world's #1 workforce platform. But there's one thing I missed.
So our vision has, since we started, is to build the world's #1 workforce platform. I think with what Alex and the team is building is we're engineering the capacity to build anything on that platform technically that a business can to power their workforce. But then we thought about the research side. And we thought there's so many challenges that are happening to the world of the workforce today. Like, what is the future of the workforce going to be? Like, is it going to be 0% employment? Is it going to be 100% employment? How do we engage people more? Is it better to work from home? Is it better to work out? What's the highest minimum wage it should be? Should there be no minimum wage? Should the minimum wage be 0? And I think the problem last year is we tried to give an opinion on what workforce success was. And that was a mistake because this conference is a platform for that discussion. And we wanted the platform itself to also be for research as well. So especially for empowering our partners, we realize if we're drilling down now into every single industry vertical and building the platform for that to be possible, we also needed to empower our partners and our clients with the right research to implement within their businesses about how to run their workforce to the highest priority and potential. So we actually came across a company called Workforce.com. So Workforce.com was founded in 1922 by James R. Agnell, who was the president of Yale and Carnegie Corp, who was a steel manufacturer. And it was actually, interestingly enough, two organizations. So it was the National Research Council and it was the Engineering Foundation of America. And they both got together and became a clearinghouse for 250 different organizational bodies in America about how to improve the labor efficacy of staff. So these people, not only making the steel and obviously with Bessemer and the introduction of the railroads, literally laid the tracks for the third industrial revolution. And we thought, if this company has been around for 97 years, they're a platform for the foremost thinking and research on what the future of work is and what the fourth industrial revolution will mean, not only for businesses, but for people working with them, and I guess as a society as a whole. So we started talking to them about 2 years ago. They're actually quite interesting. So they were part of a broader company called Human Capital Media. And they're in a network of 550,000 HR and business professionals. They do a circulation of a magazine of about 90,000. They do in-depth data research. So in everyone's booklet, there's one on technical innovation, which we've included, like a white paper. And they do like 100 expert webinars a year around compliance, automation, engagement, and that productivity piece. And we thought, this company is so damn good, and we like this so much, we bought them. So the future of Tanda, from now, in 2019, is we're going to be a single platform, not only of tech, but also of media, and of our ecosystem, bringing it together into one single platform, Workforce.com. And we will become the world's #1 workforce platform. World's, because everything that we're doing is a globally relevant problem, which applies to us all. #1, because we've never been happy with #2, ever. Nothing we've ever been doing, ever, has been #2. #2 is good. It's not great, and we're here to be great. Workforce, because that's what has empowered everything that we know in our business and with our clients we've worked with. And platform, because we want this conference, we want the product, we want the media, we want the research to be a platform for everyone to stand on and to be able to build whatever it is that they want and their dreams to become possible. Thank you very much.